Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Inside Artesian Football here on WREP 15 Sports. I'm your host, Eric Meyer, joined by offensive coordinator Anthony Lindsey this week. Coach, appreciate taking time to join us.
Thanks for having me.
He's subbing for head coach Fred Cuttriff, but we'll still have a lot to talk about here on this edition of Inside Artesian Football. We'll take a look back at the Artesians' highlights from the Whiteland contest on Friday night. We'll look ahead to the home match coming up on Friday against the Roncalli Rebels, and we'll have a couple of Artesian seniors in here as well. Up first, so we'll take a break, come back and take a look at the highlights from the contest against the Whiteland Warriors when we return inside Artesian Football.
Telemagine is your local headquarters for all types of computer and network services, including desktop and laptop repair, virus removal, and for business customers, design and installation of servers and networks. Give us a call or stop by and see us on North Indiana Street in Mooresville.
Prescription drug abuse happens everywhere, even in our schools, and the results can be devastating.
My friends wanted nothing to do with me.
I went to the emergency room and almost died.
I thought it would happen to me. Anyone can abuse drugs. Don't let it be your friend.
Don't let it be your classmate.
Your cousin.
Your sister.
Your brother.
Your teammate.
Don't let it be your child.
Don't let it be you.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside Artesian Football with offensive coordinator Anthony Lindsey. And Coach, let's take a look back at the Whiteland Warrior contest from Friday night. Again, able to put up a lot of points. In the end, though, the Warriors able to score 21 straight, and they come away with a victory.
Yeah, we put up a lot of points, but obviously it wasn't enough. We couldn't stop Wooten. Wooten is a really good running back. He had 7 touchdowns. It's really hard to do anything when that kid's just running all over us.
You look at the contest coming in, and this is a game you guys have kind of developed a little bit of a rivalry against Whiteland. It usually is a high-scoring affair, and again, it was on Friday night. Yeah,
we've always been real competitive with Whiteland. We've had their number over there. And our games have always been really high-scoring matches, and it's whoever can make the plays at the right times.
Whiteland able to make some of the plays at the right times down the stretch, scoring 21 straight to get the win over the Artesians. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Martinsville's contest against Whiteland on Friday night. We'll start here on the offensive side of things with Mason Cuttriff keeping.
That's just Mason reading. That's our base offense. He's reading the end, and he's pulling the ball, making a good play. Mason dropping back, nice protection, and getting the ball to Forler. That was a really big play for us to start.
Dallas starting to get back into form after the injury.
And that was our first touchdown to Trey right there. It was the same exact play, he just hit a different guy.
Defensively, a little bit of the fly offense there. This time giving it to the fly guy.
Just keep stretching them out, and Joey came up and made a nice tackle there. Up the middle, clogged it up. Griffin was right there to get the first hit there. I think that was Knox. Jared Knox hitting him in the backfield.
Now back on the offensive side.
Okay, hitting Forler again. Nice little curl route. And Mason hitting Noah here on a 3rd and short. Needed that. That was a really big first down for us.
We'll be talking to those two guys here in just a moment.
And then that's just Zach, running hard. Line made a nice hole for him. Made a couple guys miss and got in the end zone for us. Now we're going for 2. Zach finding the hole and getting it in there.
And that's a read coming from the person centering the ball.
Yes. Yeah, Mason will call the play there. All right, Joey Gorham getting upfield, making the tackle again. We got Drew Atwell coming down hard. He's been playing pretty well for us on defense. And this was a big screen to Zach. The lineman got out there. We call it elephants on parade. Get out there, take up space. Find a guy. This is Mason doing a good job finding Nolan Lavender. I think that was Drew again. Drew Atwell got his hand on the ball there. And this is Zach Miranda finding the hole again. The line does a good job opening up holes for him. This was right before half. We just ran a fly pattern, and Noah just outran his guy, and Mason threw a good ball to him.
Got to be frustrating as the defense. I'm sure how you let him get behind you. Good for you guys, but.
And this is to start the second half here. And I think this was our fourth play, and Zach scored on another trap. And you see Noah getting out there, clearing the path for him.
Didn't have a ton of success running off that fly. They did score, I think, once off of it, but the majority of the time you guys did a good job stopping that. Just needed a little bit more of that during the night.
Oh, yeah. Mason again, plenty of time, hitting Forler over the middle. This is a great ball and great catch by John Zloty in the end zone.
And the celebration afterwards.
Yeah, I think Zach Miranda knocked him out there.
Yeah, he gave him a little bit of a helmet smash. And everything's going great there at that point, Tom. You guys are finally retook the lead, and then bam, all of a sudden like that, they get a kickoff return. 2 turnovers amount to 2 touchdowns, and just like that, the game, football's such a game of momentum. They took it right back from you and ended up coming away with the victory.
Yeah, they did. That kickoff return was huge. I mean, we squibbed it. It was a great kick, and we just didn't cover. So this week we've got a whole different kind of package as far as who is in on our kickoff team. We got to make stops. We got to get bigger guys, seniors stepping up on that kickoff team.
So important too on the kickoff for the kids to stay where they're supposed to be and be disciplined, and it's real easy to break down when they see that ball just floating out there. Nobody's picked it up yet.
Yeah, you got to stay in your lane. Coach McKinney does a great job on special teams, and they each have their own lane, and obviously they didn't do it.
And Whiteland came away with the victory over the Artesians. A good Whiteland ball club. Martinsville goes over to the Whiteland and battles the Warriors. They come away with a victory. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to bring in 2 seniors who saw them on the highlights, Noah Davis and Dallas Forler. After we talk with them, we'll bring Coach Lindsey back in and take a look at the preview of the Roncalli Rebels. We'll do that when we return inside Artesian Football.
Are you a fan of exciting action, great sporting atmosphere, and good displays of sportsmanship?
I am definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value.
Hi, I'm Damon Routenkranz, mortgage loan officer with Home Bank.
And I'm Gordy Lucas. This is a great time to buy or build a new home or to refinance your current mortgage.
If you're in the market for a home loan, give us a call or stop by one of our offices and find out why, when it comes to mortgage financing, there's no place like home.
Home Bank is an FDIC insured equal housing lender.
Visit one of our 3 locations, the main office in downtown Martinsville, or one of our branch locations at Grand Valley or 1067 Bridge Street, Mooresville.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside Artesian Football. Joined on the set now by a couple of seniors, Dallas Forler along with Noah Davis, receivers / wingbacks / defensive backs. Both those kids have contributed mightily to the Artesian program over the last couple of years. This year, no different as well. And I think they said they like to be called Thing 1 and Thing 2 at times. And Thing 1 and Thing 2 had been out with injuries the last couple of weeks, able to finally get them both back into the fold last week. Noah, we'll start with you first. Can you talk a little bit about what happened injury-wise and what you think you're back here in terms of where you've been now?
It happened in the Decatur game. I think it was like the third quarter maybe. I was blocking for Zach and he ran up on my ankle and I got a high ankle sprain. And that put me out for a week, but I'd say I'm about 85% right now probably. I'm still working back up to 100.
And Dallas, for you, also had a similar injury as well. Can you talk a little bit about what happened to you?
Yeah, mine was the game before his, the Greenwood game. It happened the 13th play of the game. And I had to play on it the rest of that first half and sat out for 2 weeks. And then I came back and I'm about 85% right now. Working my way back up.
What are you guys having to do? I know that the trainer does an excellent job trying to get you guys back in, but Noah, what's some of the stuff that you're having to do to try to prevent it, I guess, from happening again, but also trying to get back into shape?
Just stay off of it as much as you can. Like during practice, obviously you're going to have to be on it, but after practice, make sure you ice and do your exercises to make it stronger so it doesn't happen again.
Is it the same thing with you?
Yeah, same thing with me.
Same kind of thing?
Brett, the trainer, had me doing sprint workouts last week before the first game I was back. He had me doing cutting drills to strengthen because I had a high ankle sprain also, and he had me doing cutting drills and just had me doing 40-yard dashes and stuff to get me back into shape and strengthen my ankle.
Does it come into mind when you're playing? Is it in the back of your mind, or you guys, once you get out there, the adrenaline kind of takes over?
Yeah, once you get out there, adrenaline just takes over, and you don't feel it until the play's over and you're standing there waiting for the next play. But during the play, you don't feel it.
Yeah, it's mostly after the game. I mean, in the game, you're not focused on that at all. And I think neither of us have lost like any conditioning, so we're like back in the same shape we were before it happened.
You guys obviously two main components to this. Let's talk a little bit about offensively what you've been able to bring. We'll start with you first, Noah. From that wide receiver spot to kind of second, third year that you've been out there for the Artesians, what are some of the things that you think that you've been able to excel at this year thus far from that spot?
Basically, whenever I get one-on-one coverage, it's almost an automatic go for me to go deep. Like me and Mason, we're always communicating on the field, and I mean, if I get single coverage, he usually comes to me most of the time. So we've been working on that a lot in practice as well.
And Dallas, for you, what are some of the things that you think maybe that you've excelled at again out of that wingback spot this year?
My route running, whenever Mason calls the play in the huddle, I know exactly how I need to run the route so Mason can get me the ball, and I just run around as hard as I can. He gets me the ball.
What are some of the things that you guys, now looking at that on the offensive side, that maybe you guys are continuing to work on to try to get better as obviously you round into the sectional play now?
The main thing that the wingbacks work on is that we work on blocking. We nonstop work on blocking because that's what we are. We're not very good at blocking, so we need to work on that.
And Noah, for you guys?
Basically blocking and route running. I mean, when it all comes down to it, everyone's got to be able to block so we can run the ball. For like Dallas, if he wants to run the jet, I've got to be able to block my guy so he can get by and score. And just route running too, make our routes sharper and get open.
When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, what's the approach like for you guys defensively? You're in there the majority of the time, you're going both ways. What do you think you guys have been able to excel this year defensive? Noah, if you want to go ahead.
Well, we've been at the defensive side of the ball for 3 years now, and we've had experience in it. And we're still learning stuff every day and just working our drills and practice with Coach Shields and just getting our keys down and doing the things that we do and trying to force turnovers.
Yeah, Coach Rose focuses on eye discipline. We read our keys and takes to the ball.
You guys are obviously big contributors on both sides of the ball. You've got a big game coming up against Roncalli. We'll talk with Coach Lindsey later in the broadcast on the last segment about the Roncalli Rebels coming in. Last year, boy, what a game. It was a high-scoring affair. You guys jumped all over them.
Yeah.
You're in the midst of a 17 drive streak where you guys scored in that one. What are going to be some of the things, Noah, that you guys are going to need to do to try to be successful offensively and defensively on Friday night?
Offensively, we have to be patient. We have to take what the defense gives us, like Coach Lindsey said, or take the short game. The corners and DB is going to be playing off deep, and just give Zach the ball up the middle. I mean, he's been doing great up the middle, and the line's been doing a fantastic job of blocking.
And Dallas, for you, some of the things that you guys are going to have to do against Roncalli coming up on Friday?
Knowing the down and distance, knowing how many yards you need to get, and just moving the chains.
When you guys look at this, obviously your senior year, you're in the middle of a season, a 4-2 season, ranked in Class 5A. They change the structure of the state tournament this year. Does that add a little bit extra to you guys, a little bit extra fire, knowing that you're now going to be able to compete against schools that are your size, and you're not having to worry about the 4,500 plus schools that you're going to play? I mean, does that add some extra fire to you guys as you get ready for the state tournament?
Yeah, it adds a lot of fire. It adds, you can see it in practices that we know that we have a lot of high expectations. So.
And for you guys, you as well, Noah?
Yeah, and I think people are expecting us to do well this year. Now that there's another class and we've stayed the same, and we can play with the schools that are like us.
You guys got a big test coming up on Friday night against the Roncalli Rebels, and then a couple more games before you get ready for that state tournament. We appreciate you both coming in here, and we'll see you out there on Friday night.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
That's Inside Artesian Football here on WREP 15 Sports. A couple of seniors here play on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball. Dallas Forler and Noah Davis talk a little bit about what they've done this year, talk a little bit about the Roncalli Rebels, and we'll hear a little bit more about the Roncalli Rebels coming up in the next segment as Anthony Lindsey comes back in here. We will bring Anthony back in when Inside Artesian Football continues.
Are you a fan of amazing spirit, incredible drama, and affordable ticket prices?
I'm definitely a fan.
High school sports, pure spirit, pure sport, pure entertainment value.
$5 foot long. $5 foot long. $5 foot long.
Come into Martinsville Subway and enjoy a $5 foot long today.
At Subway.
It's evening in Indiana, and the wait's over. The homework hotline is open. When you get stuck with math or science homework, there's help, and it's free. Call the homework hotline toll-free at 1-877-ASK-ROSE from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday through Thursday. The tutors are friendly Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology college students who understand your frustration because, well, we've been there. We don't give you the answers, just the help you need to figure out your homework. We even have copies of your math and science textbooks. It's a free service and a free call. Remember 1-877-ASK-ROSE or visit askrose.org. Rose-Hulman's Homework Hotline, when math and science homework has you stuck.
Back inside Artesian Football with offensive coordinator Anthony Lindsey, subbing this week for head coach Fred Cuttriff. Just had a couple of your seniors in here and been vital to the team. Those two kids suffered some injuries, just starting to get back and start to contribute on both sides of the ball once again.
Yeah, they're both great players for us. They're probably two of the best athletes in the school. They make plays on offense for us and as well on defense. They're a big part of this team and a reason why we do well.
We're going to try to do well. They'll be a big part of the game plan, I'm sure, coming up on Friday night against the Roncalli Rebels. Again, it goes without saying, a very good Roncalli ball club will come into town. You guys kind of handed it to them last year at Roncalli, and maybe by handing it to Roncalli, they figured out that they got a quarterback that can throw it pretty good, because last year they had to go to the air more than they probably ever did in an entire season, let alone in one game against you guys, and they'll come in maybe a little bit different look. They usually are going to run it, but they're going to spread it out and throw it a little bit more as well.
Yeah, their offense, they're still going to do their Catholic sweep, leading the quarterback in there and blocking. But they have a senior quarterback who can pass it. Last year, we put a lot of points on them early, and they came out in that second half and started throwing it around a little bit. So they know they can throw the ball, and I think they're going to this year.
You look at that game going back, that was like right in the midst of a run where you guys had scored on 14 or 15, 17 straight possessions, and you've kind of had the glimpses of that this year. You have no problem putting up the points and have had kind of on defense the feast or famine, if you will. You guys are either limiting them to 2 touchdowns or you're giving up 60 in the contest. So trying to get that in time, and that'll be a team that you're really going to have to zero in on because it will be a team that's very disciplined, will be able to take some time off the clock if they need to and be able to put points on the board.
Yeah, they will take up a whole quarter if they're on offense. They're going to run that Catholic sweep, like I said, and they're going to try and eat up the time. And we saw some film on them, and I think a couple times the team had 2 or 3, plays the whole first quarter. So we got to get the ball back. Defense has got to do a good job getting them off the field and getting us the ball so we can make something happen.
How difficult is that as a play caller coming in, knowing that you don't have maybe as many possessions as you will? Do you get a little antsy coming in, or is it harder to not, or you just kind of approach it situation by situation?
We'll still do what we do. We run our base offense. I've got some, Fred Rollman's up in the box. He'll tell me if something's open, and we'll run it. We just do exactly what we do every day, and we run situations, which we're going to do today for the offensive practice, and just see what happens.
Seeing what happens, knowing what Roncalli likes to do, what are some of the things that you guys are going to have to do well offensively to be successful on Friday night?
Well, our line's going to have to be really physical. Their defensive line is very good. They play with their hands, and they will blitz a lot. Their Mike backer is going to come right up the middle, so we've got to keep our head up and pick everything up. Now, as far as their defensive backs, they're really far off, so I want to get the ball to our playmakers as quick as possible so they can go make some plays.
And that, again, comes on Mason as well, for him to be able to read, get his checks, and figure out what he needs to do when he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
You coming in against the Roncalli Rebels, trying to get that bounce back, if you will, the 4-2 record coming in. What are going to be some of the keys? You obviously talked a little bit about offensively, but some of the things you guys have been focusing on this week in practice, keys to get ready to try to come away with a victory on Friday.
Well, I think as far as getting the ball back, keeping their offense off the field, and getting the ball in our hands, and then our special teams. The special teams have been breaking down a little bit. We haven't been covering on kickoff, and we haven't been covering on our punt. So we got to make sure we're doing a good job with that.
All right, Coach, appreciate you subbing this week for Fred, and we'll see you out there on Friday.
All right, thanks.
Artesian offensive coordinator Anthony Lindsey here inside Artesian Football. Martinsville coming up Friday night. We'll battle the Roncalli Rebels. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock at Ciderwoods Field. Get out there and help support the Artesians. Like to thank the offensive coordinator Anthony Lindsey for coming in for Anthony, along with Dallas and Noah and Carl Van Devender, who produced it. I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Artesian Football.